Hello and welcome back to Vintage Unicorn Beauty, Makeup, and etc. Today is day 6. I can't believe it's day 6 already of my alternative makeup looks collection. Today I am doing this. It is a contrast color Arabic eye, a lot of blending, blue to gold. I just love it. So if you would like to see how I created this look, then follow me and we will get right into it. Also, please don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And thank you so much. Mwah. So I'm going to slowly start to amp up the brown and the red and the warm colors. To do so, I'm going to grab my pencil brush and I am going to grab a couple of small and larger shadow brushes from Scone and then a large blending brush to fluff it all together. Now I'm going to be using some neutral palettes. Yes, I do have them. This is the Narcissist palette and it's a really nice palette. It's got a very workable scheme. So I am going to start and just continue building. Now I want the lid to be a gold, but I'm going to save that for last. So first I am going to go in with the beige tone that is all the way up at the top and start adding depth to that crease. And I almost want to wing it out, but not quite as dramatically as I usually do, sticking to that almond shape because there's going to be a heavy winged Arabic style liner in this. Going into that beige again, and it's just going to be continuing to add and blend colors until I get to the depth and the warmth that I like. One thing for these studio lights that I have, the big umbrella lights, is I can definitely see what I'm doing a little bit better, and I can see how it is reflecting on camera. So something that may look really nice in real life might not look quite as nice on camera, and vice versa. So after dipping into the beige, I want to dip into the warm kind of ochre color and do the same. Just start adding layers, building those colors together, and getting a really deep crease. Never forgetting to blend. All right. I am just feeling great today. I got to come home a little early. I'm going to go back to work a little later, and you know, I don't talk a lot about my job on here because I mean, it's not my job, it's my passion, it's my career, it's my profession. I do work in a residential treatment facility for patients afflicted with substance abuse, and it is my passion. That and makeup, just being real. But you know, you can always have two passions. There's also a peachy gold that is right next to the warm ochre in the Narcissist palette, and I want to add that to bring that goldy color back in. So I was looking at Jeffree Star's new palette as well as Manny MUA's new palette because there was a lot of hype about them, and I'm not gonna lie, Jeffree Star makes some amazing products. And I couldn't help but notice there was a lot of similarity. Like, they were essentially the same palette. They had a little bit for like the nudes, a little bit for, you know, for the kids, and they had a little bit for the metallic lovers out there. And I was just a little underwhelmed. I feel like these same shades have been done, and they've been done to a much higher level of quality by I'm just gonna say it, by Sugar Pill Cosmetics. So what I want to do now is with a flat shadow brush take the darkest color and start to smoke that crease right in the crease line. And I want to do this in a very light manner and just start pushing and patting upwards. So that's going to be my line of darkness that I'm going to continue to build upon. It's a very wearable look, at least on top, almost like I'm cutting the crease. Very wearable, very nude, and then I'm going to amp it up on the lower lash line. I think some of the colors I planned to use out of the Storybook Cosmetics palette were the ones that died and broke. Oh my gosh, sad face. And the two that broke were Charms and Jinx, which were part of the, I mean, you ever buy a palette because you're like, oh my gosh, those shades work so well together? Those were definitely instrumental in me going in for the palette in the first place. All right, so I have a very, very deep crease. Now I want to bring a little bit of gold into it. To do so, I am going to be working out of the Storybook Cosmetics palette with what is left of Charms. So I'm going to take, there is a little bit left, and I tried to salvage as much as I could, and I just want to brush that through there so that there is a warm reddish metallic, and that'll help me also blend all of the shades I've just added. and get a really nice blend so there is no muddiness. There is just a smooth gradient of darker to lighter, blending all the way to about yay. I still want some stark pigment, but I do want it to be soft. Going in with Charms again. This was such a pretty color, and that's like all I can pick up. And this look is fairly quick, actually. Well, I'm guessing. I have a kind of bad habit. Like, I wore the look I did last night, the gradient red and, I'm sorry, the contrast red and green to work this afternoon, and I just loved it. But I realized how many things I could have done differently. So I think that maybe a definite topic to consider is, instead of just dream it, do it, believe it, maybe, you know, put a little bit of extra thought into planning it out. So now I want to really get some glitz on that lid, and I have so many palettes that I'm looking at. I have this Urban Decay one. It's got some beautiful glitz in it. It has a similar gold to the one I'm looking at in the Narcissus palette. I mean, I would be kind of embarrassed to show someone my makeup collection. It's intense. But to do this, I'm going to stick with the Narcissus palette, and I am going to take the goldy color. Oh wow, that is some pigment. And I just want to brush it over my lid, and then I will blend it with a brush. But I want that application to be done with my finger. This would be a really beautiful highlight color as well, but I am using it for all over a lid. All right, now I'm going to stick with the NARS and go in with this kind of goldy color here. It's another one of the metallics, and that's how I'm going to bridge the gap and blend everything in and give it that luster, that warmth and that luster. I almost am tempted to add a little bit of orange because I know how well orange and blue contrast, and I may do that yet. There is still room to continue that. We will see. I mean, this by itself, if I blended it out and, you know, focused on it being a look, could definitely be a look in itself. Not entirely my cup of tea, but I could see it being something beautiful. So this is a great palette. I'm going back in with that dark brown, just re-accentuating that almond shape. And I am just going to continue gradually adding and blending, and then I will be back. Thank you. Literally just decided spur of the moment, I need to warm this up. So I'm going in with Suburbia by Sugar Pill, and I am just going to use a clean pencil brush and add a little bit to it so that it's not quite as neutral. It's got a little bit of an oranginess to it because the colors that Jinx and Charmed were supposed to be are just not there. I thought I could do it with the little bit that was left in the pan, and I cannot, alas. Sadly. You can amp up the orange on this to whatever level you like. It's just really important that this is a blended fluid look. So the blending is going to take some time, and I'm just going to enjoy that. There is something just soothing about feeling the brush on your skin. Maybe that's why I'm so sensitive about brushes that are a little prickly, because for me, this is my me time. This is my time to forget about what the world thinks and just feel beautiful. All right, so now that we have that really nice neutral upper eye, let's completely change the game. You know, I'm about that, so let's go in. Now, to begin, I want to use Home Sweet Home. It is another single press shadow that I have from Sugar Pill. It is this beautifully stunning, matte, cloudy gray, if I can get it right in there. And I just want to take it very lightly under the lash line using a semi-fluffy flattened brush. And I don't want to be afraid of going large. Because I want that blue to pop. And the only way that blue is gonna pop is if I give it something to hold on to that's blue. Especially when it's contrasting all of these browns up above. And And I'm really hoping Merlin pops. Come on. In a second here. Otherwise, the look is over. There's nothing more that can be done. So there will be a nice liner that cuts the two colors. But for now, I just want to kind of let them be near each other, but be careful not to blend them into each other. And to do that, I am just focusing the blue on one end of the brush because the other end is picking up some of the mess. All right, so I think it's time to go in. I have chatted long enough. Where is my pencil brush? Here it is. I'm gonna go into Merlin, which is this absolutely gorgeous sapphire color in the Witchcraft and Wizardry. And I just wanna start kind of small, keeping tight in the lower lashes, and then start blending out. I'm thinking like, wow, is this really, did I really think this out to the point where it's this easy? Then again, these aren't the toughest shades to use. They're really not. They blend really well and they tend to look beautiful regardless of application. And I want to bring that into the inner corner ever so slightly. And now it's just a matter of adding intensity and blending. I can tell my upper lid could use a little more intensity. There are some certain places on the lower lash that I want to blend and add a little bit more of that blue. That is just really pretty. I don't have blue eyes, I have gray eyes, so I can always amp them up with a little bit of blue. And that is just, I'm loving that. All right, so I am going to continue blending the upper lid so that it is nice and clean. And then I will go in and clean up in just a moment with concealer. That's the word I was looking for. Real quick, I want to add a little bit more pop to that line right in here. So I'm going to take my finger and grab that peachy shade and press that in. Not all the way on the lid, just near the crease. These metallics are so easy to work with. Same finger, I want to take the silver and then start. Am I seeing fallout? Did I just, no I didn't. I don't know what I saw. This could definitely be done with a cut crease, but I think it almost adds to the look that it's a little messy and that a cut crease was not done. Also, when you're using metallics in your crease, you don't really need to. So I am going to continue blending and getting that nice and clean, and I will be back. All right, so there's my blending job, and I was actually looking back. I am so almost ashamed to say, I was looking back on the look I had right before I added the blue. I was like, that was such a pretty neutral. No, I promise no neutrals during this. And I'm just gonna fill in those brows, and I want them to be quite there. Same on the other side, little brush strokes. This side is always the challenge, right? Just one eyebrow. You know, I saw a Poshmark notification that said, we have accepted the fact that our eyebrows are not twins, they are sisters. True that, but when it comes to this eyebrow, I'm like, are you even in the family? Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, that is how it's supposed to be. This guy right here is just doing its own thing. So I just gotta fill in a little bit. All right, now eyeliner. Because we are doing an Arabic style eye, I had to really consider whether I wanted to go in freehand with a gel liner or whether I wanted to use a liquid liner. And I decided that just for the purposes of this video and to show the the intricacy involved, I want to definitely use a gel liner. So I have my Tarteist liner, and I also have my Ofra. It's really just a question of which one decides to show itself first, right? May I also say real quick, okay, so over it is. May I just say, I wore one of the Kat Von D liquid lips that came with the, like the promo bundle, and it stayed on all day. I even applied chapstick. So I am using the Tarte brush here. This brush is a little difficult to use. It doesn't like to stay perfectly clean. It doesn't like to stay in a perfect line either, but I find that I get the best results, especially in the inner corner using it. Something about its length, and it also will not skip or dry out from the liner, because I mean, this is the liner, so the eye is not going to do much. So I'm just going to start in the very inner corner and slowly pull. And when I notice that the pigment is not quite there, that's when it's time to add a little bit more. And I'm going to continue doing this on camera, and I'm just going to shift into my side mirror so that I can get this really on point for this look. And what I like to do is I like to match the lids first and then go in for the wings. Another cool thing about gel liner is I don't feel as compelled to stretch my lid. All right, so there we have the line, and with this I want to take just the slightest bit for the wing and start building it up slowly but surely. So I am going to take my lower lash as a guide and just start feathering out that wing like so. I am an absolute fan of the Amazonian clay. There I go, stretching my eye. I am an absolute fan of the Tarte Amazonian clay liner, and I would have used it. It just the over one is a little easier to carry around. That is the bottom line. I may sharpen that out or even smoke it out. I haven't quite decided yet. So again, using the lower lash line as a guide and just building up. And filling that in. Now, because this is a true Arabic style eye, I want to make sure that these are absolutely precise, they are absolutely the right shape, and that they match one another. Now, this is the tough part, is getting the inner lash line with a good coating. But it is absolutely imperative if you want to have that really beautiful almond eye shape that comes from the eyeliner. And slow and steady wins the race. Bring it into the inner corner a little bit. One thing I will not do is apply any kind of product on a brush to my absolute inner waterline unless completely necessary. It's something that makes my eyes water and ends up ruining the look. So my trick for doing it is I build it into the inner corner and almost build myself a false line to follow. And that is just something that I do. If you can go in your eyeline, please do. It's just something that I find will damage the overall look. Now what I want to do once I have the shape is do a really clean and pretty little inner waterline like that. Alright, one side isn't quite as pigmented right there, so I'm just picking up the tiniest little bit. And there it is. So another really great thing about using gel liner is you can blend it if you want to. You can smoke it, you can buff it, and this look looks really nice, precise, but I think it looks equally nice if you give it a little bit of a blend, pushing it into that blue. And just smoking out that just by running any small, really dense brush along the line of your shadow and your eyeliner. Just add to it a little bit more, add a little bit of depth, a little bit of intensity. All right, so there we have it. I am seeing one eye turned out way better than the other, but that's an easy fix. So next thing is going to be intensifying that blue just a little bit more. For me personally is something I want to do, and then I want to clean up. So I am going to do that. I don't even have to be right back. I can do it right here. I have everything I need. Oh my gosh, this is like a first. So I'm going to take that same brush that I blended with and do another little line following the line of the liner, just to intensify that blue. Around the outside of the wing, I almost want it to be like the wing shadow. Like the wing is casting a blue shadow. I'm not sure what happened right here. Oh, it was just a little bit of overspill. Nothing that we can't handle. All right, so to clean up, I am going to be pulling out my concealer. I am going to be using the whiteout formula. Any concealer that you like to use, go ahead and use it. I just like to use the whiteout because it acts as a natural highlighter. Oh my gosh, did I just do that? It's okay. All right, and that's the look. No, I'm just kidding, but I totally think that every time I do this. So I got a little on my eyebrow here. That's a little bit of a sad story, but I think it will live. I'll just have to pop it back up. Using really fair colors, anything that's lighter than your skin tone is a great way to do the baking, the under eye, highlighting, all that kind of stuff. And I may do that just to accentuate that blue. I don't want to mix the blue in with the white because then I will end up looking gray, and I don't think that's cute. I'm not sure. I don't know what the kids are liking, but you know. So real quick, that might take, it's being a little stubborn. It's being a little stubborn. The ABH is gonna have to come out and help me clean up my mess, but that's okay. All right, so we are gonna finish up the face, add some lashes, and then we're gonna be done. So I will be right back. All right, so a little bit of contouring, a little bit of highlighting, a little bit of powder, and I am good to go. So I'm just going to contour my cheeks fairly as usual. I'm gonna use the Beauty Blender for this one, just on the sharper tip. And instead of using a powder to contour my nose, I'm going to use the remnants of the tip of the Beauty Blender to set a foundation for the contour, and then dip into my Chocolate Soleil with just a, really any brush works. I do like using those little like toothbrushy brushes, but I have them washing upstairs. So I'm just gonna I use pencil brushes for everything else, why not? I do need to find a better color for this because I feel like it looks red, but it does a very nice job of sculpting and just giving that effect that the nose is a little more slender, and you can carry it down as long as you like. All right, now what I'm going to do is to highlight the tip of my nose, put a teensy little bit of that, and blend it out with the Bum Bum of the Beauty Blender. and just kind of spread that color anywhere that I want highlighted as opposed to contoured. Run a little bit right here. There's so many things that you can do with concealer that I don't even think we realized for the longest time. You know, all these things that people are figuring out what to do with concealer just absolutely amazes me. Like, who knew? I always thought concealer was like that stuff that kind of looked like lipstick and like mom used it for whatever, but no, it is more than just dark circles these days. It is a standalone product that you can do a lot with. Okay, so now that I have my kind of blank canvas, I want to powder my face. Then I'm going to add a little bit of, just a little bit of highlight. I don't want to be too matte, right? This is a very nice highlight though, using that white color and just kind of blending it in with the powder. Looks really nice. The studio lighting, I would just like to say thank you. I feel like so professional that. If I don't say it enough already, I am really looking to grow my channel. At the moment, I am self-funding this just because it's something I absolutely love. And it's not something I'm doing for notoriety. It's just something I've always wanted to do. But at the same time, having, you know, just a few more people there in the background would absolutely be fantastic. You know, I have this cake and bake sponge that I see all the time. I think it was sent to me as like a gift with a Poshmark purchase. I might use it. So, if nothing else, I feel like the studio lighting definitely stopped the blowback from the ring light and just added a little bit of, I don't know, I feel pretty. What can I say? So, lashes, lip color, and then I promise I'm done. Lashes, I'm going to dip into my Kush. It's almost time to get another. I mean, I use this stuff that much. I am going to put on my magnetic lashes. I will not do that on camera. Really, you could probably stick with just your natural lashes in this. It really just depends on how much drama you want. But this is my look for my return to work, and I don't want to be super dramatic, like I don't want to be sugar pill lashes dramatic, but just having a little bit of extra. I was so devastated when I took off the lashes after, what video was it? Was it the electric punk tutorial? Not those ones. It was the Daydreamer lashes. I took them off and they got really stuck, and I pulled out like so many lashes, and that just devastates me. It really does. For my lips, I am going to be digging into a little bit of a controversial lip product. I will say though, I put this on this morning at 6:45 and it was still on right before I washed my face for this video, and I had put chapstick over it and everything. So this is the Kat Von D Studded Kiss in Underage Red. Just make sure your lips are fairly moisturized when you put it on. I always love finding a tube lipstick which performs like a liquid lip. And regardless of the name, I think it's a beautiful color. Is the name... yeah, but I mean, so is like Lolita, you know. Another YouTube friend of mine told me, don't deprive yourself based on, you know, some qualms that you may have with small aspects of the company. You know, I have some issues with Kat Von D herself, but does that change the fact that I think she makes some of the best cosmetics in the world? No. So for my highlighter, I don't want to go green out of this world. I'm going to go with the kind of muted one. And that will add just a little bit of pop to the blue. And I am not a blush person, so I will just kind of bring it down and mix it. I'm using my Morphe Y14. Also, I want to, these brushes are totally clean. I love it. All right, so there we have it. There is my look. And I thank you so much for watching my Arabic eye counter color again. So thank you, and I will see you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe. I put the little thing somewhere around this side or this side. There's also a little bell down there that you can click. I will not like send you crazy info or anything. It just helps me keep track of who's watching me and grow my channel. Thank you so much. I hope you loved this look. Mwah.